Hi everybody, Hal Rains here, and I just want to talk to you about basically some mistakes. 2020 was full of a lot of opportunities for growth, and mistakes happen when you are growing as a person. What you can see here is my attempts to put together a package of 8 dinner plates for little kiddos, and I basically just wanted them to be kind of silly, a little fun, with snowflakes, elephants, bunnies, things like that on them. And I thought, so there was my first attempt at using a bunny cookie cutter. And then here is mine with an elephant, okay? So as I'm working with these, going back and forth, then I do some overlays. So here you'll see basically that I'm trying to use a vintage stamp, a template really, made of paper. It's covered with wax on one side, and then basically, again, there's the picture, and give you an idea where I'm going with it. So I take the piece, layer it over, press it down, and then I was able to transfer some of the blue onto the plate, and then I placed orange over the top of it. So really it's a matter of going back and forth, and I've used this technique before, and I thought this would be a perfect way to go about putting together these little dinner plates. So I'm working with this little a decal of a gingerbread man, and I gotta tell you, as I'm looking at this in reflection, basically I realized what a mistake I did make, how I just completely was disconnected. What I saw happening in my head and what I saw happening on the plates, well, there was a big disconnect. And I can say this to you at this point as I watch myself do this work. Sometimes as an artist, you got to get in your own head and you have to really evaluate, is this coming out like you hoped it would, or like it would be your best effort? Honestly, you are your best critic and your worst critic. Finding that place where there's a middle road, that's the hard part. As I'm watching myself work, I'm wondering about why I didn't realize that these weren't working as effectively as they should have been earlier. I sometimes think it's a matter of commitment. You see what needs to be done and you have it in your mind what needs to be accomplished, so you work toward that end. And I don't reflect as often probably as I should. Like here with me basically putting the border around plates and basically making that white in an attempt to bring it together. So I'm still doing what I can to make it all fit in my head, even though I look at the pieces collectively, all 8 pieces, and go, oh my God. That I had to say, dude, what can we do to fix this? So I just started from there. Okay, so my first order of business was to get the fine particulate mask. I knew that no matter what was going to happen, I needed to take off a whole bunch of the layers of the underglaze. And you can see me here removing layer after layer after layer. And I did get quite deep, deeply through those layers. And basically, where the most important parts for me were the animals and the hearts and the joy that they had on them. So I basically put Christmas trees in ways to adorn them. And then I painted, snow on top of them. And you can see basically there's the white big clusters. And then I've got yellow dots that I used for lights. And I'm carving around the stamps because I took so much of the area off. A lot of the surface area had to go because I just had to carve so much of the underglaze out. Now the dishes were pretty brittle at this point, and so unfortunately I broke one of them as I was carving, and going around them. Using different tools, you can see, that these are just Sgraffito. That's all the Sgraffito tool I'm using right there. It's got a spade point on one end and then just a needle tool on the other side. And I'm basically just going around the lights and around the slip that's in that dark, brittle purple. Okay, so when you think things aren't going so well, change it. Be willing to look at yourself realistically and evaluate if that's your best work or if it's not. The tool that I'm using there is a bison tool. It's made by Phil Poberka. I love the guy's tools. They're always real sharp. Even if the clay is pretty hard, pretty dry, you can still get a nice cut because they're carbide and they just are beautiful. Okay, so you can see the final results. These guys that we're looking at this point are really quite remarkable. They just came out beautifully. And it was because I realized things weren't going quite like I had anticipated, well, at all. And then I was willing to jump back in and think, okay, how can I edit these? How can I make these better? What am I really reaching for, and where did I miss the mark? So all I can tell you is, be willing to change, adjust your direction, and if things aren't working right, change it. 2021 is going to be a good year. See you soon.